So you're an employee and miraculously, once a month, once a week, some money turns up in your bank account and you get given this piece of paper called a payslip. And you go, great, right, let's just crumple that and throw that in the bin. But I'm here to say that that's really important document, and it's really good to understand what goes on it, and more importantly, to check that what it's saying is right. Hold on to your seats, it's gonna be interesting. Firstly, it's a legal requirement for your employer to give you a payslip when they pay you. Yep, you should get a payslip every time. If you're not getting one, ask your employer for it. They have to give you one. Why do they have to give you one? Because that tells you how much you're getting paid and also shows the tax and the national insurance and all of that stuff that's deducted from your payslip. Your payslip is going to show 3 different sets of numbers. Yeah, I did say 3. It's not just about 1. I'm sorry, I'm an accountant. There's lots of numbers on there. So the first set of numbers are what you are being paid this month, this week. That's your salary. That's your hourly rate based on the number of hours that you have earned or worked in that particular week. The next set of boxes are about deductions. And deductions are threefold. They are PAYE, that's pay as you earn. You'll understand that as income tax. That's how much you're giving to the government by way of your tax bill. The next bit is national insurance, and that is employees' national insurance, and is currently gone back to 12%. It was a bit more than that. We're back to 12%. We'll see where we go. The final bit is an auto-enrollment pension deduction, and that's mandatory, unless you opt yourself out of it. But watch the video about pensions and ISAs as to whether you should do that. Okay, so the third set of numbers is what you have earned this year to date. It's a cumulative number, and that will probably show 2 things. It will show your salary or your weekly earnings to date, together with the tax that's been deducted to date. And that's really important when you're trying to understand income tax and your tax code. Your tax code. We've talked before about tax codes, or I have, and why they are important. Our tax system in the UK works on a cumulative basis, which means it looks at all of your earnings to date, deducts off your tax code to now, and makes you up a tax number and says, right, that's the tax I should have paid. And as long as your tax code doesn't change, then those tax numbers you can tie back and work through. But what happens if your tax code is wrong? What happens if suddenly the revenue changed your tax code from, I don't know, 1253 to 0T? What that means is you're going to be paying basic rate tax on all of your earnings. And if you don't check that tax code and make sure it's right and tie it back to notices you're going to receive, you're going to be getting the wrong amount of money in your pocket. And that's going to affect other things like your plan about whether you can go out at the weekend. Have I got the right amount of money? Can I pay my loans? Your payslip might show the number of days holiday that you are owed for the year. The reason that that's important is because most contracts of employment have a clause that says, and I'll paraphrase, use it or lose it. And if you don't take your holiday, your employer is not likely to pay you for it. They're not going to give you extra money. They're just going to go, great, thanks, that's money in my pocket, carry on. So keeping an eye on that holiday number means not only can you work out how many days you can take off and what you're left with, but also you're ensuring that you use your entitlement for the whole year. You've decided that you want to go for a mortgage. The first thing that a mortgage advisor is going to ask you for is your payslips or your P60. Your P60 is the yearly summary of all your payslips. Whatever you do, do not throw your payslips in the bin. Because if you throw them in the bin and you go for a mortgage, the first thing you're going to have to do is go to your employer and say, can I have my payslips, please? Most employers will go, yeah, fine, not a problem at all. I'll print them off and send them to you. Some employers might go, forget it, I'm not doing it. You shouldn't have thrown it away. It was your fault. That doesn't help you if you're trying to get a mortgage. It's already going to be stressful enough. So make sure you keep hold of them and put them in a safe place. So we've explained what goes into a payslip, about tax codes and all of that stuff, but we touched on pensions. So why not watch our video on pensions and ISAs to see whether you need the pension or you're better off with an ISA. And here's the link to that video.